This is an example of macro consisting of sequencing symbols. So we will look at how to handle sequencing symbols during expansion. Okay, so this is a macro that consists of sequencing symbols like this, which appears over here, that is dot only. That is, a sequencing symbol is written with a dot followed by the name of the symbol itself. Okay, and these are associated with statements which are called as conditional expansion statements like a if and a go. AGO is an unconditional branching statement where we will transfer the control without checking any condition to that line where dot over appears as a label. And A if is conditional branching where we would check the condition, and if the condition is true, then we would branch to that line where dot only appears as a label, and if the condition is false, and it is going to the first line following this A if statement. Okay, so these conditional statements like A if and A go and the sequencing symbols are basically used when we do not wish to write all the statements or within the body of the macro in or during the macro expansion. What if I wanted a certain statement to be repeated multiple times, or what if I wanted to skip certain statements during the expansion? So if that is the case, then I'll have to use this concept of conditional statements like if and ago and sequencing symbols. Okay, and we could achieve this concept of certain statements being repeatedly written during expansion, or some statements never been written during the expansion, but although those statements do belong to the body of the macro. So this clearly shows that macro expansion need not be sequential in nature. I can have a branching statement, and based on the conditions I can branch. So if I use an if statement and without any condition, I can also branch, that is using the AGO statement. Okay, so let us look at how the expansion for a macro containing sequencing symbol takes place. Okay, so first of all, we see this keyword macro. The first word following this keyword macro happens to be called as eval. So since we recognize this to be the name of the macros, we will write it over here, this called as eval. Okay, then we fill these fields within the MNT. Okay, so hash pp will be made 0 initially, kp will be 0, hash ev is 0, mdtp is 1 because our mdt is at index 1. Okay, so the body of this macro eval would be placed from location 1 or index 1 in our macro definition table. kpdpt is set 1, assuming that if there are keyword parameters in this macro called as eval, then they would be placed from position 1, and sequencing symbol, okay, table pointer also is set to 1, indicating that if there are sequencing symbols within our macro, then we will start placing them in the name table at position 1. Okay, after that we look at the parameters that are present in our prototype statement. There are 3 parameters. All 3 of them happen to be positional parameters. The first parameter is x, and it's a positional parameter, so hash pp is incremented by 1 and an entry is made into the pn tab. Okay, and pointer is incremented by 1. The second one is a y, and y also happens to be a positional parameter, so increment hash pp and then enter it into our pn tab. Okay, then our third parameter is z, is also of type positional parameter, so increment the value by 1 and then make an entry into this pn tab. Okay, and then finally increment the pointer of pn tab. Okay, now if you look, there are no more parameters in our prototype statement. So we had 3 of them, all 3 were positional parameters. Now we need to place the body of the macro within the MDT. Okay, so the first line is AIF. Now AIF statement does go into our MDT, and but AIF does not go into our expansion, but it does go into the macro definition table. So we write AIF as it is. Next is ampersand y equal to ampersand x. So if you look at x and y, these are parameters in a parameter name table at position 1 and 2. Okay, so that is why we are going to write, p comma hash 2. Okay, p comma hash 2. Okay, eq and p comma hash 1. Okay, and then comes the sequencing symbol part. Okay, the sequencing symbol is dot only, and it's a sequencing symbol not appearing in the label field. Okay, so what we do is that we will check our sequencing symbol name table. If dot only appears in our table, now it is not appearing, so we make an entry into it. If it is already present, please do not enter, and sequencing symbols are entered only once into this name table. So dot only is entered over here. Okay, right? And what do we do in the case in MDT? What we are going to write is, we are going to write here s comma hash 1. Okay, s standing for that it is a sequencing symbol and it is at position 1 in a sequencing name table. Okay, so at 1 we have dot only. Okay, like I told you how we refer parameters by numbers, similarly we have to reference the sequencing symbol by numbers because location becomes easier. Okay, so next is our line sub A register Y. Sub and A registers are ordinary strings representing themselves in this model statement, whereas Y is a parameter at position 2. So how do we write that? We will write it as sub, okay, A register, and Y is p comma hash 2. Okay, p comma hash 2. Okay, and we increment the pointer by 1. Okay, next comes add A register ampersand Z. Add and A register or ordinary strings. Z is a parameter at position 3, so we have to write add register. Okay, so we'll have to write add A register comma, okay, p comma hash 3. Okay, so this one Z. After that we've got AGO statement, so please write that AGO statement as it is because it's an ordinary string. Okay, and then we see this sequencing symbol called as dot over. So first check whether dot over already appears in our name table, and it does not appear, so please make an entry, right? And all we have to do here is we'll have to write it as, because we found it in a sequencing name table, and at position 2 we will write here as, okay, hash 2, sequencing symbol hash 2. Okay, so increment the pointer by 1. Okay, so far you've seen that I have, whenever I found a sequencing symbol, it did not appear in the label part. Okay, so the entry is made only into the name table. Okay, now this SS tab is entry is made when the sequencing symbol appears in the label part. Okay, when it appears as a label, then an entry is made into SS tab. Otherwise it is simply made, entry is made in the sequencing name table itself. Okay, so go to the next line. After AGO dot over, so I got here a sequencing symbol called as dot only, but the sequencing symbol happens to be a label, so entry has to be made in two places. One is the name table. If it already does not exist, if it exists, do not make an entry, just take its index value, and the other entry should be made in the SS tab. Okay, so first I will check whether dot only already appears in our SSN tab. Now dot only already appears in our table and it appears at position 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say Q. Okay, Q is the index value, Q is equal to 1. Okay, this Q should be in lowercase. Okay, next from where I got this one, I got it from SSN tab. So in SSN tab, dot only appeared at 1. Now I have to make an entry for this dot only in SS tab, because here SS sequencing symbol is appearing as a label. What does this label mean? That means if condition becomes true, I need the control to be transferred to that line where dot only appears as a label. So I need to keep track of that line where dot only is appearing as a label. Okay, so where to enter this? So for that, please use this formula. It is called as SSTP, okay, plus Q, okay, minus 1. Okay, so SSTP value is 1, okay, Q is 1 and minus 1, so this number turns out to be 1. Okay, so at the first position of SS tab, make your current MDT entry, which is 5. So I will write here as 5. So this is how an entry is made into SS tab. Okay, so here then we write for when I see a sequencing symbol as a label, the entry is made in SS tab. Other than that, there is no entry made anywhere else. Okay, so the remaining part of the line should be entered into our MDT. So which happens to be what? Which happens to be move R, then A register, comma, and what was the parameter? Z. So Z is at position 3, so we will write here as P comma hash 3. Okay, and then we increment the pointer by 1. Okay, next we see another sequencing symbol which is appearing as a label. First check whether it enters whether it is there in our SSN tab. It is there at position 2. Okay, so because it is appearing as a label, I have to make an entry in SS tab, but I need to know at which position should I make it. Okay, so please use this formula again. Okay, so now Q is 2 because in our SSN tab, okay, it is at position 2. Okay, and using this formula, SSTP is 1 plus Q is 2 minus 1, and this answer comes out to be 2. So at 2, okay, I am supposed to write the entry for what is the MDT entry hash, which is 6. So currently it's at 6, so this one. So what does it says? It says as dot over, which is the second sequencing symbol in SSN tab, appears at a label at which line? At line 6 in our MDT. Okay, and we write the remaining part of this line over here. Okay, so we write this as mend. Okay, again we write this as mend, and then we increment the pointer by 1. Okay, so now we finished with this macro. So certain processing needs to be done. So what we see here is that this particular macro does not contain any keyword parameters, so the pointer is set to 0. However, we do have sequencing symbols because here our SSN tab is containing sequencing symbols, so this this value remains as it is. And also please remember that once an entry is made in SSN tab, increment its pointer, because for the next macro, if there is a macro, another macro present, and that macro has sequencing symbols, it has to begin from position 3. So once we enter over, we are supposed to increment this 3. Okay, so after we finished with this, we will go to the next line, which is start. Start is compared with the name of the macro, which is eval. It does not match, so it means that it is not a macro call, so we write it as it is. Okay, next one, eval happens to be a macro call because there is a match over here, so two things happen. Okay, so one or two data structures are created. The first data structure is MEC. Okay, so MEC, okay, over here, right? So MEC is MDTP value, which is currently 1. Okay, so if you look at our table, MEC MDTP is 1, and then I need to prepare an AP tab based on how many positional parameters there are there and how many keyword parameters are there. So this is 3 plus 0, 3. So in our AP tab, there will be 3 parameters. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay, fortunately in this case all of them happen to be positional parameters, so I can enter them in the order in which they appear in our macro call. So the first one is 7, second one, literal 7, so this is a literal 7. Okay, next one is also a literal 7. Okay, and the next one is a literal 8. Okay, so once this entry is made, okay, use our MEC value. Okay, use the MEC value and go to our MDT. So MEC value happens to be 1. Go to our MDT. Our MDT is 1. So this A if Okay, now AF happens to be a conditional expansion statement, and these statements do not appear um, in our expanded code. Okay, so these are used to only check the condition. So I'm going to check whether the value of this P at position 2 is equal to 1. If it is the case, then I will go to that line. Okay, okay, then I will go to that line where this sequencing symbol 1 appeared as a label. How do I get it? I'll have to look at the SS tab, look at position 1, look at the MDT entry there, and change my MEC value. So P comma hash 2 is equal to P comma hash 1. So look at your AP tab. Is the value present at 2 equal to 1? Now in this case it is equal. Okay, so what are we supposed to do? We are supposed to change the MEC value. Okay, I'm supposed to go to that line where the sequencing symbol 1 appeared as a label. So how to get it? Go to your SS tab. Okay, because this is S comma hash 1. At 1 we've got this MDT entry as 5. So MEC value now becomes 5. That's all that has to be done with this line called as AF. So once this is over, okay, now our MEC value is 5. Go to line number 5. Okay, so at line number 5 is this line called as move R. So we are going to write that in our expanded code. So we will write here plus, okay, move R. Okay, what was the remaining part of it? At 5th, A register P comma hash 3. So A register is as it is. Okay, instead of P comma hash 3, go to your AP tab and see what is the value at position 3, which is 8. So we write this as equal to 8. Okay, and then by default, okay, this MEC value is incremented by 1, so it becomes 6. Go to line number 6. Okay, now when you go to line number 6, it says men does not become part of your expanded code, so this expansion is currently over. Okay, now once that is done, go to the next line. The next line is ADS10. DS is compared with eval, no match occurs, so this is written as it is. Okay, next comes this eval. Okay, eval is a macro call because it matches this MNT over here. Okay, so again I told you two things happen. Okay, what is that? An MEC data structure is created, which is set to MDTP value, which is 1, which we got from our macro name table, and then we need to prepare an AP tab. Okay, so I will just prepare an AP tab here. Okay, so the first one is a number and second one is, I'll copy this here, this is an actual parameter. Okay, now how many should we have? We will just look at hash pp and hash kp value and determine how many actual parameter values we should have. So hash pp is 3, hash kp is 0, so 3 plus 0 is 3. So I need 3 parameters here. So this is 1, this is 2, and I need one more. Okay, so I will just take it a little on top so it fits properly here. Okay, so this is 3. Okay, so this is our second AP tab. Okay, for the second macro call. Okay, I will write it as 2, but remember there is no second AP tab created. The previous one is actually overwritten. Okay, so this is eval. Okay, and again we have all positional parameters over here, so please just write them in the order in which they appear. So we've got a 4, 5 and 8. So this is literal 4. Okay, then there is a literal 5. Okay, and then there is a literal 8. Okay, so this is how this AP tab is prepared. Okay, and then using this MEC value, which is 1, we go to our MDT. So MDT is over here. So again I check this condition. The condition is P comma hash 2 equals P comma hash 1. Okay, so P comma hash 2. So if you look at the AP tab, this is 5 and P comma hash 1, okay, this is 4. So 5 is not equal to 4. So this condition goes false, and since the condition goes false, okay, what we do, we go to the first line following this AF statement, that is 2. So MEC, okay, this MEC value, okay, I will write here. So initially MEC was 1. Okay, now it has become 2. So go to the second line. The second line says sub A register. So please write that in our expansion. So it becomes sub okay, A register, and then we see this particular thing over here, P comma hash 2. So hash 2 means here in our AP tab it is 5, so we will write here as literal 5. So we will write here as literal 5. Okay, then we increment the MEC by 1. Okay, so so it becomes 3. So go to the next line 3, so that is add A register P comma hash 3, that is plus add A register, okay, P comma hash 3. So if you look at the table of AP tab, P comma hash 3, okay, so that is 8. Okay, so here it becomes equal to 8, the literal 8. Okay, after that we increment the MEC value by 1. So MEC value is incremented by 1. So we go to the fourth line. The fourth line says that ago s comma hash 2. Okay, so ago is a conditional expansion statement which does not appear in our expanded code. So it simply says that I need to change my MEC value. So if and ago only change the MEC value, they do not appear in our expanded code. Okay, so which one should I go? Go to the SS tab, refer the SS tab, and look at the value at position 2. So SS tab, the value at position 2 is 6, and that is why this MEC value over here becomes 6. So after that, go to the sixth line over here. The sixth line simply says that it is meant. So our expansion is complete. Okay, and then what do? Right, we go to the first line following this macro call eval, and which is nothing but end. So this is how an expansion takes place, okay, when we have a macro with sequencing symbol. So if you look at this macro here, see here, if this condition, if y is equal to x, okay, we have to generate only one line over here, move r, which happened to be the case. And if this condition goes false, we are supposed to generate two lines, that is sub and add, and then go to this mend. So that is what happened here, only sub and add got generated, and we move towards the end of the macro.